How long would you survive in the past? Now, that answer is kind of self-explanatory. I've looked in the mirror a few
in
times.
2023 versus the past. Thanks to the technological advances of the modern age.
See, look. It's raps. Like, the first thing we see, this is a colored man getting murked right here, right? Right in his face. Dagger straight to his eye. We're done. We're done. Hey, I'm live on Twitch every single Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday. Link is in the description. I better see you there.
In 2023, life is pretty safe.
Huh?
In the past, however, many of the things we take for granted now were likely a death sentence for our ancestors. Amputations. In 2023, if you need to get an amputation, then it's usually a fairly safe procedure and performed by highly skilled.
Y'all think they would hang people for doing the moonwalk? Y'all would probably look like some Richard tree. Some Witcher tree? Witchnisticism. Yeah, let's go with that. You'll definitely get hung for moonwalking.
Surgeons. Pumped with anesthesia and put to sleep, an amputee nowadays never has to witness their own dismemberment.
I'm talking like 200 years ago.
Recorded amputation
200,
31,000 years ago in Borneo until the early 20th century. If you had a serious infection or injury that required amputation, the experience was brutally different.
Oh, really? Nigga got a Rolex there.
Perhaps only a little opium or alcohol to slightly numb the excruciating pain. A typical procedure in the 17th century would start with the patient being fully awake. What followed was a wrestling match between the surgeon's helpers and the patient, as the individual was grappled.
On some The Walking Dead type-ish. Y'all think if a man, a person's voice sound too good, they would kill that person and take their vocal cords. Like, this isn't even on no racial nonsense. Y'all think, like, they had that much hatred for each other that they would just kill each other over petty things like that, since law is hard to enforce with no cameras? There was niggas dying for no reason. I promise you. Someone losing a game of patty cake, knife to the throat. Playing hopscotch, knife to the throat. You can't beat me. Lord forbid kickball. They rigged the ball and put like bombs in the ball, roll it, explosion. Damn, they were corny back in the day.
Onto the bed and desperately told to keep still. The surgeon began by making 2 deep incisions with a sharp knife, upon which the patient started to scream in agony. Then another knife was used to cut down the flesh until it reached the periosteum layer, the membranous tissue that covers the bone.
Yeah, the periosteum.
In preparation for the most traumatic stage of the operation. Making sure to have a spare on hand in case it broke, an implement was next used to saw off the bone, with the man tasked with handling the limb focusing on holding it steady in order.
Why are they in like a courtroom? Why are they dressed so nice for this operation? Y'all think they saved some of the foot meat for later to eat?
To stop it from snapping completely off. Once the bone was fully dismembered, the stump was either cauterized or stitched up. If the surgical procedure didn't kill you, the bacteria from unwashed, rusty instruments usually caused an accompanying infection that would finish you off afterwards. Vaccinations. In 2023, the perfection of the vaccination process has helped protect us from nasty pathogens and ghastly diseases.
That's what some people think.
Early misguided attempts to inoculate against awful sickness.
When niggas dying to chicken pox, they coming out the room and they just have a bunch of pox on their face. I know the plague was going crazy. Y'all know how like Greek gods, like how there's a bunch of like different mythological gods. Y'all think, hypothetically speaking, they real? Y'all think they were placing bets on which disease would take out more people? Y'all think Zeus had 20 on the Black Plague? Did Poseidon have 30 on Ebola? Like, how much were they betting?
Often had disastrous consequences. During the American Civil War, although Union and Confederate soldiers fought to the death, they did have one common enemy. According to the most recent estimates, disease killed 2 out of every 3 combatants, with smallpox being among the most lethal maladies and reportedly leading to the deaths of 40% of Union soldiers who contracted it. The most common method by which doctors procured vaccinations was to infect small children with cowpox, a closely related and less dangerous form of smallpox. Take fluid from a developing cowpox pustule and then directly inject it into the bloodstream of a soldier. widespread
I mean, that's kind of like how we got the flu, like the flu cure or whatever, like your flu shot. It has a little bit of the flu in it. We are literally in the time of like the best looking people, chat. Like if y'all have seen photos and like paintings of how people used to look like back in the day, them niggas were ugly. And you know for a fact some of those paintings are not real and they were photoshopping the painting in real time. We're blessed. Cause I swear if I'm looking up to a nigga like Benjamin Franklin, you know how pissed I'd be? Seeing a bunch of Benjamin Franklins on the street. Man, I'm getting mad.
vaccination, however, was impossible because
That nigga Abraham ugly as hell. I mean, presidents don't look much better than they used to, but damn.
the scarcity of doctors who knew how to carry out this delicate procedure, with one doctor for every 324 Confederate soldiers and every 133 Union troops. As a result,
How many
combatants
doctor per
began
slave?
to inoculate
None.
themselves using rusty pocket knives and nails to make self-inflicted wounds before piercing a comrade's pustule and coating their gash with the fluids that seeped out.
Yeah. See, this is how bored they were back in the day. They had no phones, so they resorted to cutting themselves. They were so bored with their day. They like, you know what? That's how you know they were ugly too. Scars all over the body from self-harm. And they got off to it. My lord.
Such a method did more harm than good, for as well as catching any infections from the unsterilized points they had stabbed themselves with, many soldiers mistook the smallpox carbuncles that they hoped would safeguard them from syphilis blisters, accidentally contaminating themselves with an illness which, left untreated, could lead to paralysis, blindness, heart disease, and death.
Damn.
Travel. In 2023, we have
Oh my lord. I can only imagine trying to go across Texas with a horse. A horse? Nick, that might take like months, maybe years. I don't know. Me personally, I've never traveled with a horse. Traveling across Texas with a horse might just take a year.
luxury of traveling incredibly long distances.
I think I would probably learn how to fly. I would sit down and I would meditate and I would force myself to learn how to fly. I'll become one with Mother Nature. I'd communicate with the birds. What I would do is I would take a parrot. I would talk to the parrot, right? Tell the parrot I want them to talk to the doves, right? Tell the parrot, hey, can you get the doves to be my friend? So I become friends with the doves for like 2-3 years. Boom, I go on to hawks, go on to hawks, and then the hawks, they become my pals, and then the hawks start carrying me, flying me places. I might be seen as a witch. I might be looked at as a savior, but I'm finding a way. I'll be damned.
In a very short amount of time, in comfort. But in the past, if you wanted to do the same thing, you might not survive the journey or destination. Today, excluding stopovers, it takes an average of 20 hours to travel from Edinburgh Airport to Panama and return. But for a group of intrepid Scottish adventurers at the end of the 17th century, this same journey was a lot longer and a lot less pleasant. In 1693, after establishing the Company of Scotland trading to Africa and the Indies, successful businessman William Patterson proposed that the Scottish should colonize the Isthmus of Panama and set up a trading post.
They were, I'm gonna keep it a buck. They were in the middle of the ocean pretending like they know what they were doing. Cause tell me how they in the middle of the ocean, they see nothing but water and they know exactly where to go because of a compass. I refuse to believe that. The compass says they say go southwest. Let's look at the compass. It says southwest. We'll get there eventually. What about the waves? The waves are knocking you off track. Like how? There's no way. I call cap.
Envisioning that their nation could financially benefit by becoming
no cameras, no
intermediaries
proof.
of Atlantic and Pacific trade, 1,200 Scots dreaming of a better life on distant shores set sail from Leith Harbor in Edinburgh on July 12, 1698. Arriving at the Bay of Darien in November 1698, many on board had already died or were already sick by the time the group had disembarked. 7 months later, tropical diseases had killed 400 of the colonists, while the rest of the expeditionary force were stricken with yellow fever and were so weak they could barely move.
They were taking months trips, and for what? Some tea? Tea is not that good. Cotton is not that good. You know what I'm saying? Cotton is not that useful. I'll find something else. I'd use seaweed at the bottom of the ocean before I wait 7 months for some cotton. They only lived to like 15 years old back in the day too. That's like a third of their lifetime they waiting on some tea. No.
With the fate of the first wave unknown, a second voyage was sent out, and by the time it reached the cursed settlement, 160 people had already succumbed to illness en route. The new arrivals quickly realized they had
You
stumbled
don't think they
into
had
a
cameras?
nightmare,
I do.
and soon 16 people a day were dying. The remnants were rescued 4 months later, but the journey home would also prove fatal, with shipwrecks and disease killing a further 340 survivors. By the end, only one ship returned to Leith, and
Dang.
2,000 people had perished. Winter. For most of us in 2023 who live in warm and insulated homes, winter
New York City, wintertime, the only thing they have is a fireplace and some lamb wool. I'm telling you, there's babies are dying everywhere. Niggas are losing toes.
is a season of only mild discomfort.
Canada, bro. Canada. Middle of the winter. They are giving birth to ice cubes.
Those enchanted by snowy landscapes or Christmas merrymaking even consider it the best season of all. In the past, though, winter was definitely everyone's least favorite time. For the majority of our ancestors, the festive period was instead symbolically associated with old age, poverty, and death, who also had the misfortune to experience winters that were often colder and longer. One such occasion.
See, this is around the time where I'd probably become the first firebender, because I refuse to go out freezing. So I would circulate my inner chi, and I'd start, you know.
Occasion was the
I would
volcanic
do it now,
winter
but
of
there's no need to right now.
536, when average temperatures dropped by as much as 3.6 degrees Fahrenheit because of a cloud of volcanic ash that darkened the skies for 18 months.
Oh my
In what is
god.
generally regarded by historians and scientists alike as the worst year to be alive on record, these unusual climatic conditions, which ushered in widespread global crop failures, caused it to snow in China during summer, and created, according to the Roman scholar Cassiodorus, a winter without storms, spring without mildness, and a summer without heat. It's been
Would that not be a polar bear? What's a grizzly bear doing right now?
attributed to the 6th century eruption of a volcano called
I don't even know
Ilopango,
where they
located
are.
in El Salvador, which
they're
expelled
in El
10 and a half
Salvador, okay.
cubic miles of dense rock. This
Damn.
cataclysm was thankfully a one-off event, but for the people of the Middle Ages, global cooling was far more prolonged. The result of a decrease in sunspot activity or further volcanic eruptions, the Little Ice Age lasted from 1300 to 1850 and saw global average.
Huh?
The Little Ice Age lasted from 1300 to 1850.
Bro, look at how much. Yo, look, what is going on here? Global temperature change over the last 19 years. Look at what. Oh my lord, we are breaking records. There we go, bro. I'm telling you, we the best generation over here. They were over here freezing, nigga. We are off the charts. We are fantastic. Let's give ourselves a round of applause.
And saw global average temperatures plummet again by as much as 3.6 degrees Fahrenheit.
What
In
state do
parts
I
of
live in?
Scandinavia
El Salvador.
and Switzerland, villages and farms were wiped out by advancing ice glaciers, and in the 17th century, blizzards were recorded as far south as Florida on some occasions. In addition, the 1709 Great Winter in Europe was so cold that thousands of the poorest people died in their sleep of hypothermia, while Paris was completely cut off by snow for 3 months, forcing some people to feast on frozen corpses to survive.
Dang, why did they not just use the snow as a blanket? Just warm up the snow a little bit. Central heating type thing. Yeah.
Beauty. In 2023, applying
I just said this earlier. Them niggas were ugly. I just said this, chat. Oh my god. Yo, I'm a genius.
cosmetics usually isn't too life-threatening, since they're required by law to go through a strict safety assessment before being allowed to hit the shelves.
Like, imagine going down the street and this is what you see. This is what you see. I'm just saying. I'm disgusted.
In the past, however, beauty products often cut short many lives. From as far back as 3500 BC, makeup lined with toxic chemicals such as lead was commonly used by women from all eras of history to whiten their skin. Most
Y'all dying just to look whiter. Like, that's crazy. That's a crazy thing to die for. That is a crazy thing to die for.
famously by Queen Elizabeth I. Although prized for its face-smoothing qualities, lead makeup had the unfortunate side effect of making the user uglier as time went on, causing gray hair, dried-out skin, severe abdominal pain, and constipation.
Damn, why is there naked babies kissing each other? Is there like some background meaning? Do I just not know what's going on right there? Those are cupids, idiot. Got it. Where's the bow with the heart? Where's the heart bow? Were they shooting at someone's heart? I don't understand.
But when society cottoned
Why is
on to
one
the fact
ginger?
that lead was dangerous, an even more poisonous ingredient was found to replace it. Skin whitening products were next made out of arsenic, a chemical that kills red blood cells to create a paler complexion, and which was often nibbled on throughout the
Literally-
day in the form of a wafer.
Literally
Women who
killing
chowed
each
down
other,
on it gave
killing
themselves a
themselves.
variety of ailments such as nervous system damage, kidney damage, and baldness, which were often the precursors to an
Did she
agonizing
just give herself a
death.
beard?
In the more enlightened 20th century, fashionistas were still permanently damaging themselves. Among the deadliest fads involved being exposed to X-rays for up to 20 hours in order
Dang.
to remove
Oh, no.
unwanted hair. Although an effective treatment, patients would later have to deal with a raft of unwanted consequences, including skin thickening, atrophy, ulcerations, baldness, and ultimately, cancer.
Just to
So,
look better.
count yourself lucky that you live in 2023, because in the past, you wouldn't last.
I know I wouldn't last. I didn't need you to tell me that. Next thing you know, he's gonna call me the hard R. Like, leave me alone, bro.